So, not a lot of people in the peanut gallery, however well-intentioned that they may be, comprehend the contrast that I'm facing entering back into the quote-unquote workforce. So, it's been 9 years since I left AAA and took on eldercare and tended to my exhaustion through rest and recovery. Now I'm slated to start a new job on Monday, and there's a lot of congratulatory responses to this, and I'm getting pats on the back. I feel affirmed for basically, I need to get my heart in this actually if I'm going to do it, but I'm feeling different. People are more excited about this than I am because they don't understand the contrast that I'm facing after being out of the workforce, the quote-unquote workforce, for 9 years. And this process began actually in basically February of 2026 when I was at the end of the funds that I had been living on, and I had some well-intentioned input from some people connecting me to DoorDashing and Uber Eating and earning money that way. Honestly, my first venture forward, the second day actually of delivering food, I ended up landing my car in a Ford dealership and spending $1,600 for car repair, which had to get financed, which I still owe on. And since that time, I also needed to get brakes, which was another $700 that is still owed. Here's the contrast. I have been out of the workforce, quote-unquote workforce, for 9 years, and as soon as I make any movement towards becoming productive, I land in debt. I don't think this is coincidental. I'm looking at this as almost engineered. I have babbled and I have ranted and I have prayed and I have interceded and I have felt into healing prayer regarding the wounds and the toil and the burden that's been on us all concerning Babylonian money magic. And I'm not talking out of my ass, but everybody gives consent to this shit. And when I come along and I've got a contrast about how this shit works and how we're actually being manipulated, it's like I wasn't working, I made a movement towards working, I landed in debt, now I have to work. What's next? Are they going to start garnishing my wages? It's just engineered. It's like a big fat setup. It's witchcraft. It is Babylonian money magic. So I'm learning not to resist it necessarily. So I'm not resisting it necessarily, but I am observing it. I've got exhibits here of how this system works. And I've got contrasts wherein not a lot of people have the perspective and the outlook that I've been given over these last 9 years about how things work and how we're cajoled and manipulated and hooked into toil and to consenting to the depletion of our life's blood because, we end up in debt. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what shift and subtlety of light. I don't know what consents. I don't know what agreements. I don't know what small print. I don't know what incantations or rituals are performed in order to make demand upon our bellies like this, where I'm in debt and I've got to spend time pouring time for money again. This is not how I've learned life. This is not how I've learned that we should occupy the earth. And we consent to it. Why? And I remember being at AAA, my previous employer, and I learned things in that context, actually. I knew that I was whoring time. I knew that there was a demand being made upon my substance. I knew that there's a depletion and a diminishing, and that I started awakening to the fact that the entire system's rigged, and I desired to get out of that system, and I took on the eldercare when I took on the eldercare, and it gave me an out. A well-deserved out. and out wherein that my eyes were lightened, and out wherein that I can see how this works. But even in the context, and I've got to take this mindset on me as I'm going forward to earn a living again. I've got to take this mindset on me that the way that the God met me back when I was at AAA, He taught me lessons in time. He taught me about the expansion and contraction of times. He taught me that I'm not defined by times. He taught me that we exist outside of time. Yet we so consent to occupying time so we can stay in our little niches and our cubes and stay controllable, where we become productive for those that live off our fear. Our fear. They live off our fear. What happens when you don't pay a debt? What happens when you let your bills go? What happens when you don't show up at work? There's obviously consequences, and the prospect of these consequences elicit fear. The devil keeps the whole world in bondage through the fear of death. It's Bible. They're not after our money. They want to keep us in an emotional state where they can feed off of that fear energy. It's food to them. That's why the serpent was cursed, that up your belly you will crawl and you'll eat dirt all the days of your life. And if we become diminished and think that all that we are is dirt, that's fodder for the dragon. It's fodder for the serpent. But when your eyes are lightened, you don't take that place anymore. You don't occupy that place. So God granted me an enlightening. He granted me time miracles. He granted me an angelic presence named instance. An angelic presence that I tapped into from the verse in Timothy, 1st or 2nd Timothy, where it says, be instant in season or not a season. It's like regardless of the season, regardless of the measure of time that you're occupying, you're outside of it. You're operating in a realm of instance. It's like find yourself and occupy whatever seasons or times or years that are allotted to you, and reckon the fact that you are coming from the outside in and you're manifesting in the space of time, not in time trying to get out of time, if that makes sense. So I'm reacquainting myself with this instance, this angelic presence. There's many time miracles that I had. I think even the fact that I have been able to manifest vigor at this stage of my life is an attestation to the fact that I have occupied a realm and occupied a livelihood outside the framework of times and seasons and wages and toil. But there's this one particular instance when I remember I was like 7 or 8 miles away from my job at AAA, and I was on my way, and it was like I remember looking at the clock, and I had like less than 10 minutes to get to where I had to go to clock in on my computer and start doing my job at AAA. And I was in traffic. I was like in traffic 7 miles away, and I needed to get through this traffic, and I just thought I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to be late. I resigned. But remarkably, I got sucked into some time-space continuum vortex. I don't even know what to call it. But God, this is what God does. He expands and contracts time on our behalf. Do we have a grid for that, or are we just going to stay in our cubes, in our limited thinking? And not understand, and it's totally linear. It's like, well, it's A, B, you got 5 minutes here, and everything's all cut and dried and cookie cutter about how we look at our times, and it's like there's so much beyond that. Because God translated me. I got sucked into a vortex, and I got planted in my seat at the moment that I was supposed to clock in on my computer. And I should have been 10 or 15 minutes late, honestly. With the traffic and the distance that I was 7 miles away, but I had to go through traffic to get to where I had to go to do my job. And God literally translated me. It was totally remarkable to me, and it was a time miracle. And there's many other instances like this that I've gone through. We are invited in Christ to have a different kind of relationship with time, and it's imperative upon us so that we don't become time whores and wage slaves. I mean, when you've got this relationship with time, you understand that those that try to exact that fear and exact those moments and stick you into time constraints, they don't have any authority over you because you're coming from the outside in. So I guess to me, it's not even a case that we are seeking an escape. I mean, when I was a triple, I wanted to escape. I wanted to get out. But now I'm perceiving that it's like we're already outside and we're coming at it from the outside in, and it's like no longer escape, no longer gritting, no longer white knuckling it and resisting. You're literally just occupying the time and transforming it from the inside out, because we're coming at it from the outside in, if that makes sense. I'm just getting a grip on these things. I had to do this little rant. I had to get this off my chest. There you go. I need a heart of gratitude. I want to occupy these times, these distances that I'm going to travel, because I'm going to be a delivery driver. I'm just believing that, this first shift scenario, this life change, that however God wants to manifest in it, so be it. I'll do it with a heart of gratitude, and I'll manifest more time miracles, because I've been reacquainted with this angelic presence of instance as of this day. When I was sitting before the Lord earlier today, I felt His presence, and the things that He led me in previously, the things that I learned and that I was taught, that we may be instant in season and out of season. We're not defined by the seasons. We're outside of them. From the outside in, from the outside in, from the outside in. May you all have an understanding for everything that I just said.